Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have made it to season 2 of the Eyewitness Show with Nikki George, and we are so glad. I'm so glad that last season was amazing, and we have a special guest here, Synthia. Hi, Synthia. How are you?
Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I'm so glad that you are here with us. We're just going to dive right in. Again, we want to take the time before we start. Cynthia, before you tell us all about yourself, we just want to thank everyone that participated in last season, whether you were a viewer or whether you were one of our special guests, you made everything special. And so we're just believing God for new and better things this season. So,
Yes.
Cynthia, welcome again. Tell us about
Thank
yourself.
you. Well, thank you, first of all, for having me. I truly appreciate it. I was wondering when my opportunity was going to present itself. So thank you. So thank you for inviting me. Myself. Okay, so I'm just going to fast forward and not give you, everything about me. But most people don't realize that I graduated from high school at 16 and went to college at 16.
Mhm.
I started out as a psychology major and quickly realized that wasn't my environment. So I switched over to computer information systems and business. Okay. And then later on in life, I ended up going into the workforce. And today I'm happy to say that I am with Wells Fargo. I've been there 36 years in different capacities. People sometimes, whoa, one company. Yes, but in different capacities. You don't stay stagnant. You continue to market yourself and you continue to do better. And that's what I decided to do through my 36 years. They relocated me here in Charlotte almost 20 years ago now. And I have settled in. I haven't acclimated, but I've settled in. I still love the cold weather. Um, some of the things that I've learned to do while I was here was continue to do things like mentoring.
Mhm.
It's one of the things that I love to do, particularly young men. Um, I think that's because of the sports part of me. I am a sports fanatic, so to speak. So when you want to talk about sports, you go to the guys, and that's where I find that I am strongest at mentoring. I like to mentor young men that society has said either have like learning disabilities or can't quite uh, grasp things, or society has said, you know what, they're going to fail in the end. I have some really good examples of young men that I have mentored with, and have helped them overcome some things that are doing extremely well. I am proud to say that they are doing extremely well. So it's one of the things that keeps my heart full a lot when it comes to them. So, in a nutshell, I am a mom. I'm a child of God. I am a wife, an aunt, a sister. I wear so many hats like most of us do. And one of the things that I think I love to do the most is shop, but not to the point where I can drop just yet. But I do love shopping. Okay. So that's basically me in a nutshell.
And
Just happy to be here.
you forgot to mention comedian because many times I like to give you a mic and just let you go.
That's hard sometimes to not put in that comedic stuff because I think of it. I'm quick on my feet when it comes to comedy. A lot of people don't know that about me, though. So you just let them know something, because I do love getting in the quick whips and saying things and, laughing about it. But so thank you for admitting that one more thing that I do have a hat and a love for. So thanks a lot for that one, for that.
Yes.
Yes.
We're gonna take a minute to say hello to some people are saying hi to us. They're saying good morning, my friends. That's
There's
B.
me.
Hey,
Baby.
we getting some love.
Oh, that's my son.
She said, "You're so funny." All right,
He's
so
amazing.
you know what, Cynthia? Sometimes people may think that you always looking put together. You've
Mm,
vice president of Wells Fargo in one of the the capacities there, and so sometimes people can kind of think that you always have it together
mm,
all the time, and they sometimes might not know what God has brought you from.
Right.
Has God ever delivered you from anything?
Oh my goodness. So first of all, yes, as far as having it together, looks can be deceiving. We all do know that. I
Mhm.
do try my best to be prepared for things. So I'm glad that it does show up that way. But yes, he has delivered me. A lot of people don't realize it. I am a former smoker. And I mean, I smoked for years and at a young age. I want to say maybe back to the age of 17. Remember, I was in college at 16. So
Mhm.
I want to say probably back as far as 17 years old. And I smoked for many, many, many years. I can't even count how many there were. But I also had the desire to quit off and on. And there were times when I did quit off and on, 3, 4 times. Lord, I just want to stop smoking,
Mhm.
and did it on my own successfully quite a few times. Just went cold turkey. But there were times when of course, I went back. Weight gain, supposedly stress,
Mhm.
family issues, things like that that can make us all want to be addicted. Okay, so
Mhm.
although I'm talking about smoking, this can go further. This can go into
Mhm.
addiction itself. People
Mhm.
have different addictions and different things. Sometimes it's eating, sometimes it's shopping, sometimes it's smoking. It's whatever you find that helps comfort you. That's what smoking did for me.
Mhm.
And but I also knew that there were going to be health challenges that came. And I'm thankful that I've never seen the health
Mhm.
challenges, but I did know that as Michael was, little, I wanted to see my grandchildren. And I didn't want them to
Mhm.
see me ill. And I didn't want someone to have to put me away or be on some type of medical device or something. So, like I said, I quit many, many times. And I also was an athlete. Okay. Hard to believe you're an athlete and you're smoking. But I would not smoke when I was playing a sport, whether it be, my softball, my baseball, whatever it was. I never smoked during that time, which meant that I had some sort of control. But then when
Mhm.
that season was over, right back
Mhm.
to the cigarettes. And they were Newport Lights in the box. Let me be real clear. They were not soft pack. They were in the box. And my friends, we all smoked Newport Lights in the box. It was something about flipping that top that just
Mhm.
brought that joy. Okay. And it was like, and you have a habit when
Mhm.
the snow is about to come and you're trying to figure out, am I going to have enough cigarettes to get through the snowstorm? Am I
Right.
going to have enough to get me through the weekend? When you're always planning for that addiction, that's pretty much
Mhm.
how you can know that it's an addiction.
Mhm.
So I remember one time, and um, I've always said to God, Lord, I want to stop smoking. And I remember one of the biggest things that I remember about smoking was the grapevine at work. Now, back in the day when you could smoke at work and they didn't really push you out, we got to the point where we ended up going outside to smoke. And I had a group of people. And I worked in HR at the time. And there's a lot of things happen in HR. You have to keep things confidential and all all that. And I had people, we would come out,
Mhm.
and that's where we knew what was going on with the company. Right there, when the smokers smoke, they tell everything. Okay. And I can remember finding out so many things in that smoke room. And I had said to a couple of folks that I smoke with, hey, I'm getting ready to cut back. I'm not going to smoke anymore. I'll be seeing y'all, but I'm not going to be able to, hang out with y'all anymore. And this one gentleman, I'm thankful to him today, said to me, you'll be back. And I not a good luck, but you'll be back.
Mhm.
And I said to
Mhm.
myself, really? Is he challenging me? But then I realized, oh, this challenge, I've got to beat this challenge here, though, because he is challenging me. The difference was this time I actually involved God. See, before I did it all cold turkey.
Mhm.
This time I brought God into it. And I said, Lord, I want to stop. It is my heart's desire to stop. I ask that you remove the taste. So what I did was I made a bargain with God. This is what I said. I said, Lord, if you remove this taste from my mouth for 24 hours, I'll never touch another cigarette. And God delivered. 24 hours later, he, I didn't have a taste for cigarettes. So then I upped it. I said, okay, wait a minute. So maybe that was just a trial. God, if you don't give me a taste for 48 hours, I'll never touch another cigarette. Then I went to 72. And by the time I got to 96, I said, Lord, I thank you for this delivery. Because one of the things that I also did was give him a couple of conditions. Let me just keep it real. So, God, when I start smoking, could you also make sure that I don't get the smoker's cough? And could you make sure this, and this, and this? And he looked at like, okay, when you said start smoking, I delivered you from all of it.
Wow.
All of it. And let me tell you, I never got the smoker's cough. I did a cold turkey. I never went back to that room to say, ha ha, I did it. Y'all didn't. As a matter of fact, the gentleman came back to me and after a couple of weeks and he said, I'm just sorry that I didn't go with you when you stopped. So the difference was, because people said to me, what was the difference this time when you quit? And let me just be very clear. That's been about 17, 18 years ago. I'm sorry I didn't write down the date, but it's been 17, 18 years ago. Easy. And people say, what was the difference the last time you did it? And I said the difference was that I asked God and I trusted him that he would pull me through. And he did. He did not leave me. He did not forsake me. He saw to it that all my needs were met. And for that, I am very, very grateful because I had all the bronchial stuff that happens at times when you're a smoker. There's just things that happen to you, and you just have to realize and be real with yourself that this can be bigger than you. So if you're going to quit successfully, involve God. He knows what your weaknesses are, and he'll make sure that he hides you while he is healing you through it. And that's what he did. He hid me from it and kept me safe. And then I never turned around and said, I want a cigarette. Just delivered me from it. So for that, I am very grateful. God has been very good to me and my family. And I just give him all the glory. This is bigger than I could have ever thought, ever.
That's amazing. So what I hear you saying is with any addiction, really, if we can just involve God and get real with God and mean business with him, that he does his part. So that's awesome. And so you're big on that. You talk about being authentic with God. Why do you feel like that is so important?
It's important because, you hear things about your heart's desire, but your heart's got to be right. God's not going to enter any dirty vessel. Okay. So I'll give you an example. I had a lady that I disliked for years, disliked her. There was a reason, when you come from me, I'm okay. I can handle it. When you come from my kid, it's the boxing gloves are on. I'm Mama Bear. It's personal when it comes to the children. Okay. And she had done something, not to my child, but something that could have affected him. But obviously it affected me. And for years, I chose not to forgive her. So every year at the end of the year, the pastor would always say, you need to make sure that everything is clean. Don't walk around with a hard heart and malice. And you hear it, you're like, okay, Lord, I forgive him. Okay, God, I forgive him. I forgive him. Well, every year I would do it and say it with my mouth. But authentically, my heart wasn't changing. God knew that. Now, man might have been fooled, but God was not. Okay. So what you do is when you hold on to things and you say it with your mouth, but you don't change your heart, you're blocking your blessings. Trust me, you're blocking your blessings. Let it go, people. If you have not, let it go. I promise you, you're blocking your blessings, whatever they may be. It could be monetarily, it could be a whole bunch of things, but you're blocking your blessings. So what I did was I held on to this for years and for years. I forgive her. But if I saw her, barely spoke, had a tube, the whole nine, right? Could not muster up being in her presence. Could not do it. That's how you know you're not delivered, right? So this one particular time, pastor was nailing it. I mean, letting it loose, right? And I just sat there and said, oh my gosh, like I could barely breathe. I was so overcome with just, okay, God, I am so sorry. How dare I try to fool you? And he
Mm,
said, I need for you to contact that person
mm.
and let them know that you have forgiven them. And I'm going to tell you, I'm obedient, but I had to stop for 1 second and pause and say, really? Me? Now, okay, okay, my heart clean, but now you want me to go. Okay, so
Mm,
I was crying in the whole nine. God was like, I'm just not moved by those tears. I need for you to get delivered, Synthia. It's not about her, it's about you. I
mm,
will deal with her. I want to deal with you. You've got to come clean. So
mm.
I came home and Lord, I started cooking my dinner and I stayed busy. I did everything but made that phone call. And God said, all right, keep on. Make that phone call. Okay, you been delivered. I went ahead and I dialed the person and the phone rang and I was in tears, right? And
Mm,
the person answered, hello. And I said, hi. And I said, told her who I was and everything. And I said, listen, I said, today a message went forward that I just felt like I just needed to come clean, be
mhm,
authentic, and
mhm,
let you know that I forgive you for what you've done. I
mhm,
mean, I let her know the whole story,
mm,
where it began, the
mm.
whole nine. And she sat there and she said, really? Like, I don't even really remember that. I was like, did she just like throw, did she just, did I just waste years being mad with her? She acting like she don't even remember? Seriously? But
Mm,
then it hit me.
mhm,
Sometimes
mhm,
people have moved on because maybe what she did was maybe she had moved on and she had forgiven herself. Maybe
mm,
I was still holding on to it, right? So
mhm,
after that, I was like, wow, I can't believe she dissed me like that. But I was so excited that I got it over with because I knew that my heart was genuinely changing. I did
mhm,
run into her about a few months after that, but I greeted her in a different way. But let me just get to you to reason why it's so that the authentic piece is so important.
mhm,
So that happened in December. In January, my right hand to God, my neighbor Sharon McFarland, I should have told her to come on. She could have been a witness. Sharon McFarland. Okay, so let me just set the scene. I went to eat breakfast this one morning and I didn't want to eat and drive, so I pulled over in front of a furniture store
mhm,
to eat my breakfast and I was talking to my mother on the phone.
mhm,
All of a sudden, I looked up and there was a sign that said going out of business. And I
mhm,
said, going out of business? I can't believe this store's going out of business. Mom, let me call you back because this store's going out of business. Now,
mhm.
mind you, I have been praying for some furniture for the house, in
Okay.
particular, my guest room. Okay.
Mhm,
So I go into the door and I open it. And as I step in, you know how you step in and there's this carpet where the doorbell goes ding dong. And
mhm,
then they know you're in the store.
mhm.
So the lady comes out and she's like a little bewildered, looking at me like I broke into the store. She said, how'd you get in here? I said, I opened the door. And she said, oh, because we don't even open for another few minutes. I said, well, the door was open. And as I walked around, I saw furniture that I loved, but I thought it was being held for someone. I said, this stuff, is it being held for someone? And she was like, no, no. And I said, oh, okay. So I ran around and I started like touching things and looking at things and just saying, wow, this is beautiful. And I need this and I need that. And this is gorgeous. So I said to her, so all this stuff right here is not being held for anybody. And she was like, no. I said, and y'all going out of business? And she said, yeah. I said, okay. Well, how much is this stuff? She said, it's 90% off.
Woo.
90%
90.
off, did you say? Did she say nine or did she say nine, Lord? What did she say? He said, no, she said 90 because I blessed you. I was
Mm,
holding all of this for you.
wow.
And because you were authentic
Mm,
and you let go of that malice and that hardened heart, I
mm.
released your blessings.
Blessings. Yes.
Okay. Now, mind you, I have been tithing and all. See, let's be real. As Christians, we'll tithe, we'll do all the traditional ritual stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was tithing higher than 10%.
See. Wow.
Okay. He still wasn't moved by it. But the release of my heart, the cleaning of my heart,
Mm.
90%. And I said to the
Ooh.
lady, oh my God, 90%. That's not, is that possible? To myself, I went around and bought so many things. Where Sharon McFarland fits into the picture is I couldn't get things into my car. I bought so much.
Mm.
Okay. Thousands became hundreds.
Wow.
I had to come home and say to Sharon, I need for you to gather up Corey's trucks so that we can get to the store and go get all the stuff that I bought. I kid you not. And she was like, okay, okay. And we drove Corey's trucks to the furniture store and brought home all this stuff. And I just sat there and said,
Wow.
do you know how long I have been waiting for this moment to arrive where I could afford to do this, and this. And the whole time, because I was being disingenuous with God, he said, I'm just not, you're my child. I'm going to discipline you. You're going to have to break it. Let it go, folks. I'm telling you, God has your blessing ready for you. Let him bless you. Bless yourself. Let it go. It is so insignificant. You just don't understand that you're keeping yourself from the next, whatever it is. So for me, that's where the authenticity comes into play. I was authentic with God, and he was authentic with me. He said, when you let it go, I'll be right there. But there were times when he said to me, go back, Synthia, spin that wheel, Vanna. I need for you to be clean. I need for you to represent me and be the light. And that is exactly what I had to do. And I'm grateful for that as well. He has always been the biggest disciplinarian in my life. And there's just been times when I've just said, Lord, not today. He said, it's got to be today. Because tomorrow you're not even promised. And that was one of the reasons why I was happy that I called her, even though she did not validate my feelings. Who does, right? My feelings were hurt by that. But I'm going to tell you, God said, I get the glory. You don't give someone else power over you. I'm the one who gets it all. It's either all or nothing. So I just chose to go God's route.
Awesome. Awesome. We're going to take a minute. We're going to
Sure.
listen. This is your hubby all the way from Alaska saying, you're blessed. Come on now. He'll bless you with furniture and he'll bless you with a good man. Come on.
In Alaska, right? Yes.
Right.
Oh my God. Yes.
That's awesome. Awesome. But speaking of blessings, you've recently received another blessing because God has just continued to bless you. So let's talk about some of the blessings when God is, keeping you're keeping your heart authentic. You're being real before God. You're being obedient. You're doing what you know to do. What's some other blessings that have popped up for you?
Yeah, so I've had something recently, and my husband can attest to this because back in 2006, he got into a car accident with my car. Thank God he was okay, but it wasn't him. It was an accident with my vehicle. So I've had this Pacifica forever. Okay, I've rode more children around in that Pacifica. It was me and the one child, and everybody say, "How many children do you have? Why do you have a Pacifica?" It was just a huge car, right? But I rode around everybody's children. So I had been talking about getting rid of this car for a very long time, but it just would not conk out. And my husband wouldn't let it conk out either, right? Every time he turned around, he was getting it fixed. So I was like, can we just let the Pacifica go? But anyway, so March, April of this year, I received a letter from Fidelity Investments and didn't understand why. Why do I have a letter from them? Was going to throw it away. Thought it was junk mail, but I rarely get junk mail. So I opened it up and it mentioned something about a person who I knew as a child, who I grew up with, and she passed away. And I can remember as a kid back in 6th grade when I first moved to town, a gentleman played not a gentleman, he was a boy at the time because we were kids, played a very nasty joke on her, okay? We all were exchanging Christmas gifts, and he gave her a Christmas gift that was so unworthy, and everyone laughed, and she was so embarrassed by it, and I was very upset. And me being the martyr that I am, I wanted to fight the young man, but again, it's sixth grade. Okay, I wanted to fight him, and everybody said, "Oh, he's a duke of the class." I said, "I don't care what he is. He shouldn't hurt her like this." Whatever sixth graders say. Anyway, the young lady was very upset about it. So let's fast forward. That was sixth grade. High school time. It's time to go to prom, and we're getting our makeup done and our hair and stuff done. She comes by the house. Now she was not popular, but she was smart, right? Mm-hmm. Hang around them smart people. I'm telling you, them smart people will get you places, right? But she was not popular, but she was smart, and she was genuine. She was a very sweet person. And I decided I wanted to be her friend. It really was okay. She wanted to be my friend too, but I wanted to be her friend. Now, all my friends who were a little bit more on the bougie side kept wanting to understand why I was friends with her. And I said, because she was nice. My mom taught me to be nice to people. So they're like, you shouldn't hang around with her. Okay, well, whatever, right? So every year, January 20th, I'll never forget that date. January 20th was her birthday. Every year she invited me to her birthday party. Every single year. She had a very small group of friends, but she invited me to her birthday party. So I would go by, pay my respects, and leave. January 20th. I get this letter from Fidelity Investments, and they want to know, call them. And so I call them, and they're like, listen, do you know her? I'm like, yeah, I know she passed away. Okay, do you know when she passed away? Then now they all of a sudden starting to question me like I initiated the phone call. Well, I should say sent the letter, right? I'm like, yeah, I know her. She passed away. Do you know the exact date? I said, well, I'm sure I could find out. Do you know her date of birth? I'm like, absolutely, I do. It's January 20th. And I knew what year because she was the same age as my oldest brother. And they said, okay. And then they said, well, do you know anything about her kin? And I said, yeah, I knew her sister and her brother. And I started telling them, the brother had passed and the sister, I didn't know where she was, but I knew that she had an older sister and I knew her mom had passed, all that. She was never married, never had any kids. Okay, fast forward 2 months later, I get a letter in the mail and it says that they're going to take a percentage out of some money. And I'm like, what money? Because no one has told me anything about money, right? Y'all just asked me some information about her and told me you would be in touch. Next thing I know, you want to take a percentage out of some money. So I called them. I said, listen, percentage out of money? Like, what are you guys talking about? Because all you did was send me a letter. Well, what it turned out to be was that I was a supplemental beneficiary of some money that she had left. And let's be real clear. Pfizer was who she worked for. The people who do the immunization is who she worked for. Okay. Wow. So I'm like, beneficiary of money. And they said, yeah, she left you money. And I said, wow. Okay. And they said, we'll just send you a check on July 23rd. And I said, okay. And of course, I talked to my accountant and he gave me some information on, how to handle this. But I'll tell you that out of the kindness of, I'm sure that she was just, I want to say maybe she was just appreciative of that sixth grade moment. I'm not really sure. And the fact that I was authentic with her, I was a friend of hers and never shunned her, never did. Girlfriend left me a pretty nice little penny. I'm not going to disclose it because I don't want no one coming to me for a loan. But
and you sent me a picture of the check, so I know you're going to take me out to lunch.
I sent you a picture of the check because sometimes people think everybody always got a story. Can we see a little proof? Mm-hmm. I sent you the proof. Yeah. So if you want to show people you can, it's already tied up. So don't look. Y'all know it's already tied up. Okay. But I was thankful and grateful and just astonished that she thought of me like that. And I said all that to say, because I had prayed to God about a car and he told me to hold on to the March, April timeframe. And then this letter came in. Little did I know that it was going to lead to me being a supplemental beneficiary of a childhood friend.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is so very awesome. So kindness, forgiveness, all of these things, being authentic. and
Yep.
real with God, real with people, that's what keeps the blessings flowing in your life.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I just appreciate you
Yeah.
so much. I thank you. I wish we had more time, because you're definitely going to have to come back, because it's so many. We just talked about one small little facet of your life. I
Yeah.
mean, you're a mentor, you do it all, and you have friends all across the world. You've traveled. And so I just am so grateful that you would take the time to impart to us,
Yeah.
and to really tell us to get it right, to just let
Yeah.
things go.
Let it.
It's not worth it. You made it clear. We're holding on to something, and the other person has forgot about it, or maybe not even
Yeah.
gonna give credit for it. And really, it's a waste of time. And so
Yes.
let's not block our blessings.
Right.
Thank you, Cynthia, so very much.
Yeah.
God
Thank you
bless
for
you.
having me.
Do you have
Thank you for
any
having
final
me.
thoughts you want to say?
Just want to say again, you wrapped it up really, really well. Just make sure that every moment counts. Every moment should count. Don't spend time wasting time. Not worth it. Give God the glory in everything that you do, and He will reward you accordingly. That's it. Thank you.
Awesome. Well said. So thank you, everybody. Tune in again next week, next Friday at noon. We look forward to seeing you. You guys have a blessed day. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.